Welcome to the Two Gargoyles Comics Podcast. On this week's episode number 10, Diaper Man, with your hosts, Michael McAdam, Kyle Burles, and Mike Rieger, and special guest, Jeremy Few. Welcome. Welcome indeed to the Two Gargoyles Podcast. I'm your host, Michael McAdam. With me are Jeremy Few, Mike Rieger, and Kyle Burles, a.k.a. Monkey Face. Hey, Kyle. How you doing? What is
Good.
it?
How about you?
Kyle was just holding up a very, very cool, is it Planet of the Apes bust?
No,
Kyle?
it was an animatronic monkey head that I got from my granddad like 10, 15 years ago, maybe probably more. And when he passed away, I took back the head.
So it's basically just a random family heirloom that is not necessarily related to any movie.
No.
But it is
that.
cursed.
It is cursed. The cursed monkey head.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's with us today on the podcast,
That's
leering its toothy grin at the ceiling. Oh, now leering at the camera. That's good. So, big news in the Two Gargs world. For the last 30 days, we have been running a Kickstarter for Spectrum number 2, the LGBT superhero comic drawn by Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy's waving. And written by myself. And I am so pleased to say, not only did it fund, but it smashed through both its first and second stretch goals. So, really good for us there. This marks the first time that a Two Gargs comic has been completely funded by crowdfunding. By not me. Yeah, exactly.
They've all been funded, but...
Oh yeah, they've all been funded, but this time it's like, my wallet is like, thank you, oh, so much. So that, right now, we're in the process of getting the money processed through Kickstarter. That takes about 2 weeks, they tell me. And then we'll be handing out digital delights and also the print delights. We have Spectrum issues 1 and 2 that are being sent out. And also, as a bonus, we have an 8-page mini comic Jeremy and I did for Platform Comics. They had a contest, an 4 to 8 page comic contest, which has never seen the light of day. So we're sending that to people. And we're also sending copies of Twilight Detective Agency number 1. That's the Two Gargoyles as Detectives comic that we did. Jeremy drew and I wrote. And so Two Gargs is taking a step forward and a step up in terms of comic recognition. So pretty happy about that. We're going to take a hiatus on Kickstartering until after Christmas, of course, because that's where everybody's money goes. It's Christmas stuff. And then probably around February, we'll start our next Kickstarter, which I haven't decided what it is yet, even though I have about 3 comics ready to go.
Are there 3?
I think so. There's Gloaming number 4, which is almost done right now, drawn by Kyle, written by me. And then we have The Magical Mr. Punch, which is a new comic about a British mage and the trials and tribulations thereof. I think the tagline for that one is Tricks and Trouble in a Top Hat. And I think I had tight pants in there somewhere, but I decided to take that out.
Well, they definitely feature in the comic itself.
They do. They are there. Yes, absolutely. And then we have Twilight Detective Agency number 2, with debuting new artist Miguel Cabello on interiors. And I'm very excited to see that too, because it's been about 10 years since Two Gargs since TDA number 1 came out. So yeah, good stuff going on in the Two Gargs world. But today, we are going to focus on what is still the best-selling and most popular comic Two Gargs puts out, Diaper Man. That's right. In a fearless world of fun fetishists, Diaper Man stands above all, which is disturbing because he's wearing a diaper. There we go. So we're going to call up some graphics here because we're just going to have a look at the first graphic novel. And let me see how I do that. Doodly-doo. Sharing the screen.
Roll them up.
Pack it up, pack it in. Boop, there we go. Alrighty, so Diaper Man, the complete first series. Diaper Man is the comic that we sort of cut our teeth on. It's kind of what we use to teach ourselves how to do comics. When I say us, mostly I mean me and Mike, because it was the first project we did together, and we sort of figured stuff out as we went. So yeah, as we go through this comic, you will see inconsistencies, and that's fine. Because that's just how it went. For example, here on the cover, we see Diaper Man's utility belt, which he wears, I think, in one episode and then never again.
Never before or since.
Yeah, exactly.
Just this cover.
Does
Yes.
his T-shirt have belt loops? How does this even work?
Right? Exactly. See, these are the questions that people need to ask. Like, how's the belt stay on? And my answer is usually just willpower. But there you go. All right, so let's dive right in. Okay, I'm going to read you page 1. All right. In every city, in every town, there's always one man who will go the distance. One man who stands for what he believes in no matter what forces are brought against him. In Megapolis, that man is Diaper Man, a total freak. Raised by the enigmatic monks of Hagi, Michael Adamson is no ordinary man. He walks among us in his secret identity as a part-time thespian, no one guessing that underneath the zany exterior beats the heart of a true deviant. For when trouble rears its ugly head, Michael Adamson becomes Diaper Man, freedom fighter and fearless fetishist. So, okay. So this first page, Mike did draw a background on panel 1. And then,
never again or since.
Well, there's one or two.
Yeah. But I really wanted to contribute, and digital camera technology was brand new then. So I took background photos of real life and just sort of put them in the back so that the characters appeared to be in the real world. They don't. They look like Photoshopped cartoons on a background. But at the time, I was really, really impressed with it. I was so happy. In fact, on our little DVD commentary that we put on the bottom of the pages, I even say, not being an artist, I was taken with the idea of photographs as backgrounds. I like the idea of cartoon characters in the real world. But I also needed something to make me feel like I was actually creating something. Because back then I had writer's imposter syndrome, where the writer is just not at all necessary to the comic, and it's like, is actually just thanking the artist for even letting them contribute. So I wanted to contribute more. Shut up. Writers, don't listen to the artist. I mean, listen to your artist, but don't listen to your artist.
Pretend to nod along with your artist as your artist speaks.
That's right. That's what you should do. Also, don't make more work for your artist. Mike has an interesting comment here. Do you want to read your comment, Mike?
No.
No?
It makes fun of people with cerebral palsy, and I regret it now.
Oh, okay. Well, now that Mike has actually said what it says, he says, I have to start off by saying that I drew this 10 years ago before backgrounds were invented. Also, I had cerebral palsy and was blind in one eye. He doesn't. That isn't true. And I'm ashamed that you typed it. Just ashamed.
I'm
Absolutely.
ashamed as well. It was a simpler time.
Yes,
By
yes.
which I mean, I was simpler then.
But you're doing better now. So the first, Diaper Man started as a joke. Like, we just, okay, there was a fetish ball one year. We all went to the fetish ball. We saw all the fetishes that there were, or at least... that
All of them.
we-
Just
all many
13.
of them. All 13 of them, exactly. And because we were already comics fans, we started realizing, superheroes and supervillains are basically just closet fetishists, because where do they get their costumes from? And my thought was, well, they were in their closet the whole time. Like, they wore that on a Saturday night. Now they're just thinking up excuses to wear it. So that sort of was the genesis of Diaper Man, and how we wanted to start making a world where fearless fetishists run rampant and free. So the first thing we did, of course, was take one of our friends, Andy, and have him put into a diaper, because that's the height of hilarity. And if you knew Andy, you would laugh. So
If you'd like to know more about Andy, Spec Ops Photography.
is that .com?
Probably.
Okay. Yes, Andy's
I know
a
it's
photographer
Spec
now.
Ops.
Half a
Yes.
plug.
Half a plug. There we go.
Just an UGG.
Yeah, just Google it, kids. Just Google it.
It's a recommendation of type these words in.
Yeah. Mike has a great comment here. The initial purpose of Diaper Man was to provoke every person unlucky enough to know us in real life. This page features the partially undeserving Andy Lech and apparently Rue McClanahan, because we needed a third person in there. So yes, indeed. So
Looking at it now, it's much more still Getty.
yes, I would agree. I would agree. So we moved on, and we did this one joke, and then I guess we kept talking about it. And I do remember, Mike, you saying, "I want to be in it. I want to make a character."
The fun thing about font size is just pick whichever one. Just
oh yeah,
whatever font size you want.
oh yes, page 2. Yeah, we picked the font size to make it fit the square, the narration box. Which of
It
course
was the Wild West of internet comics.
it totally was.
Don't do that, kids.
Do you want to talk about just what you should do, Mike? Just a quick learning.
Not this.
Not this. Okay, don't do this. Basically, for those of you that are listening at home, all the narration boxes go across the entire top of the panel, no matter what the wording is inside them. And I changed the font size to fit the box, not the other way around. So yeah, that's bad lettering 101, kids. It's my first comic, yay. So Mike invented the spanker, which is our major nemesis in the book. And in my mind, this was going to be kind of like Archie comics, and the spanker was kind of like Reggie, like all the characters knew each other in their secret identities, but when they, fetished out and became like superheroes and supervillains, they sort of didn't know each other. I don't know if they were pretending not to know each other or if they're really that dense. It amuses me to think they're just that dense. But yeah, Mike wanted to be the spanker and had a whole backstory, and I thought it was hilarious. And so there we go. We suddenly had a villain. Let's see. Mike made me actually do the shadows on this page. I actually had to shade a face. I am not an artist. I am not a colorist. I can flat your comic, but don't ask me for highlights and shadows. And even so, I'm still proud that I did it because I cried after I was done.
As is your way.
As is my way, yes. So let's see. Moving on, we went to the Spanker's origin, which we shamelessly ripped off from Indiana Jones. Basically, he finds the paddle in a temple, and what was the name of the god? S&M? Was that the name?
Oh, you're asking me to remember it? No, I don't know.
No, why was I even there? I don't understand. And then, as with any villain, he becomes obsessed with teaching the hero the error of his ways, and to do that, he kidnaps the hero's best friend. So, yes, that happened. And then, of course, we make some jokes about engineers, because the Spanker hires university-level engineers to protect him while he's kidnapping the best friend. And
Animaniacs jokes. They're trendy again.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
We
comes
waited.
around.
Yes, we waited so long. Animaniacs actually came back. So now we're like, yay, all our 90s references are relevant.
Is that a Pez dispenser or a microphone, though?
It's a Pez dispenser.
Oh.
Basically, the engineers are holding off Diaperman with a Yakko Warner Pez dispenser and a toaster for some reason. Mike was always the king of the non sequitur. Like when he did a sight gag, it was like, I have also put in a toaster.
And you would always be like, "What does the toaster do?" And I'm like, "I don't. It's a joke. I don't.
It toasts.
It doesn't do anything."
Right, and that always blew my
The
mind. 'Cause,
toaster doesn't need backstory.
as a writer, I'm fairly literal. And I'm like, this represents this, which represents this, and look at all the layers of my meaning. And Mike's like, it's just a toaster. And I'm like, that's not acceptable.
Toasters
It has
are
to be a
funny.
magic toaster.
The toaster gets its own spin-off next year.
That's right. Toaster Comics. Do you smell burnt toast? Let's see. I should also point out a lot of the special effects are filters, because if one Photoshop filter's good, 6 of them must be awesome. And hey, kids, that's not true. That's not right at all. Ooh, yes, and Mike's favorite topic. I lettered this in Photoshop.
Ooh.
It was the 90s. That's all we had.
That's right. Well, we
That's
had
true.
Aldous PageMaker, but who thought of that? Like you didn't have the memory for that.
Technically, could use the MS Paint, but
Oh, God. Scary. All right. Then we have a little Star Wars scene. Oh, Diaper Man flies. Look at him hovering so triumphantly above the Spanker. This is the only time, by the way, since the first episode that we see Diaper Man flying. He does not fly. He's also not wearing a belt. Just FYI.
And his t-shirt's tucked into his diaper.
Yes, because, he's
That
neat.
continues.
Yes, it does. Until I finally said to Mike, "You're not really drawing diapers correctly." And he was like, "You let me go 8 issues. What's wrong with you?" I was like, "Da, da, da." I was actually... Yes, I was actually worried about this joke because the spanker, of course, gets Diaper Man in his clutches and goes to spank him, and so Diaper Man's only defense is to load his diaper. And I thought, okay, that's it. That's over the line. No one will read this. I'm terrified of everything. And people reacted as if it was the funniest thing they'd ever seen. So what do I know? Like, apparently poop humor is still awesome. And
Airbag.
Airbag. He failed his airbag. Hee. For some reason, I found the word airbag extremely funny when I wrote this, and anytime someone would say airbag, I would break out into laughter. Not sure why, just,
For a couple weeks. And then for years afterwards, it became less funny.
Yes, indeed. So at this point, Mike is sighing for a very good reason. I'll tell you in a minute. So at this point, we'd just been doing the comic for ourselves, for fun. And then I got email from a fetish magazine guy who he had a fetish magazine devoted to diapers, and he was like, "Could I publish your comic? I will pay you." The words "I will pay you" were not in my vocabulary for comics. I just never thought anyone would pay money for the goofy jokes Mike and I were doing, but he did. He paid in American dollars, ladies and gentlemen. So we started doing stories for him per his specifications. Now, at the time, I think the guy was in his 70s. And so he said, "Can you make the font larger?" And this is what brings us to Mike's sigh from earlier, because in this episode, which we called The Diaper Zone, which we have Rod Serling sort of inserted in there, it's like a 12-point font. It's it looks like 16-point font now. It's so ridiculous. The words cover almost all of the art. It's
I think
just
he kept going bigger, and we'd make it a little bigger. It's like bigger, and then a little bigger, and this is what he finally arrived at. And we were like, "Put your glasses on, man."
Yeah. I said, "Thank you." So we have this one episode where it's like, everyone is like, "What is this? Stop!" Everyone's just yelling. And also we made our friend Tony an angry football coach who is 4 feet tall and hairy. Because that's kind of what he looks like. Anyway. Sorry, Tony.
He's less hairy now.
Yeah, that's true. Less fur. Let's see. Was this the episode where I'm like, "You're drawing diapers wrong"?
Oh, no, that wasn't for years.
Oh, no, here it is. Yes. It was the end of this comic. This was also the point at which Michael finally told me I'd been drawing diapers wrong all this time. So, because, again, the writer, having the writer's imposter syndrome, was like, "Don't tell the artist how to draw. That's not your damn job." And then Mike told me, "If I'm drawing it wrong, it is your damn job." And I'm like, "Sorry." So, yeah, there was a lot to be learned about communication in this comic. Now we get to my favorite episode, which is where the spanker totally corrupts the sidekick and makes him like Diaper Man inadvertently by poisoning his drink with an incontinence formula, which is, what a villain would do. But what I enjoyed the most about it was we actually went on site, on location, for where we were setting the scene, and actually took digital pictures for the panel backgrounds with the intent of using them. So it was the one and only time we literally fused the backgrounds with our intent. So it actually looks quite cool to me still, even though, yeah, it's obviously cartoon characters pasted onto a background. And Spanker wears bowling shoes. I just want you to know that he's wearing bowling shoes. There we go.
Footblatch.
Footblatch. Yes, that's
Another
right.
running joke.
That's right. The sound of pants being filled suddenly and explosively is characterized by the sound effect footblatch, which people would sneak up and just say to me randomly, and I'd burst out laughing because it made me laugh. Until, of course, people did it, every day for a year. It became a little less. But it was on TV. Someone said it, one of my friends said it on a TV interview. They were being interviewed about internet or something like that. And then they're like, do you have any geek speak you could teach us? And he said, Fablatch. And that was the end of the interview. And it made me laugh. Here we have diapers correctly drawn with actual pins holding them on. So that's become...
Correctly is a stretch. None of this is correctly drawn.
I should point out, Mike is being very, very gracious and generous even being on the podcast today, you guys, because... looking at your old art, and I don't care if you're like a writer, singer, artist, dancer, whatever. When you look at something you did 20 years ago, ouch. Okay? Like, just ouch. Actually, it's all bordering on 25. Next year will be Diaper Man's 25th anniversary.
We're old.
We are quite old. Holy mackerel. But not as old as this art, am I right? Anyway... so we have several reference jokes in here. We reference Thundercats, where Diaper Man's Mystic Soother gives him sight beyond sight. And then we have the showdown at the reservoir, where the spanker is pouring his poison into the reservoir. And then Diaper Man pushes him in so that he gets the full force of his own potion. And then he drinks Diaper Man flings the antidote into the reservoir, which makes the spanker drive into the reservoir.
One tiny test tube inside a whole reservoir.
It was very potent. It was viral.
It must have been.
Yes, nanites. It had nanites.
Potables.
Yeah. For 500, please, Alex. There's a panel on this page. Mike drew it. Like I didn't write it. Diaper Man is making the L for loser sign on his forehead. I wrote
Which was
the line.
The fad at the time.
Yes. I wrote, "Curse you, Diaper Man, you haven't heard the last of me." And then Mike added, "And stop doing that. I see you doing that." And it remains the number one thing that people comment on as being the funniest thing they've read in the comic. And I didn't write it. So I got to have my sort of, I guess, Joss Whedon moment where it's like, I didn't write that funny thing. Someone else did. Oh, I guess you're nothing then. Screw you. But the great thing is that we started calling Mike's script doctoring the joke pass. Mike would look at what I'd written, and if he could, he'd fit a joke in, and it actually made the comic better because it was very quippy and very funny. So thanks for that, Mike, for taking on the duties of writing as well as art.
You say that now, but you always used to yell at me.
Well, yeah, because I was insecure, and I was like, what am I even doing here? Oh my God, I can't write. And now I'm just like, it's a collaboration. Why don't you put your ego on the shelf and just enjoy the better comic? That's good. Then, of course, we get to the origin of Diaper Man, which I think I cribbed from several different sources here. I know the Phantom was one of them.
Hooray.
Yeah, ooh, a background. And a little bit of Ranma 1/2, because that was very big at the time. And Karate Kid, as you can see in this silhouette here. So basically, Diaper Man is found in the jungle after his plane crashes, which I think is from the Phantom. I can't remember. And then, of course, he's raised by the monks who teach him the ways of martial arts. So I drew from every martial arts movie I could. There's a twister mat in their challenge ring, I guess. And so he is painted with the mystic.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's definitely how perspective works.
Yeah, I mean, the jokes are all there. But man, when we look at it now from a technical side, it's like, you were practicing, weren't you? You were getting used to it. Yes, you were.
No, I was just doing it wrong.
I'm trying to be so kind to you, man. I'm trying to be so kind. Your self-flagellation.
Incorrectly.
Okay, then. I'm told that the Chinese glyphs I used in the background for this panel are actually a swear word. I don't know. But if any Chinese people read this and are offended, please tell me why it's offensive, just so I can know and laugh. Let's see. And then, for some reason, Diaper Man gets laser vision from sucking on a soother, as most babies do, I guess. This, I still don't know what my motivation was. When Sleepers was created, when he decided to become a super sidekick to Diaper Man, he called himself Sleepers McGee. And I guess in my mind I was thinking it was a rough, tough boxer name, like a 1940s, like Chips O'Toole or Muggs Callahan or something like that. I don't know exactly
Plenty
where I was
O'Toole.
going with it. Plenty O'Toole. Yes, exactly. That's a different movie entirely. Or is it? But yeah, so Sleepers McGee just became Sleepers because that's his costume. That's what he wears. Let's see. Then we branched out and we decided we wanted to do more superhero tropes. So we gave Diaper Man like a bat cave underneath the university residence. And this is the only time you will ever see it. And it has cool futuristic doors and then a whole bunch of boxes of diapers. There's like no diaper computer, there's no diaper car, there's no diaper cycle. And we had ideas for all of that stuff, but we just didn't do it. Like, it's kind of like a conversation with Kyle. I had this great idea. Yeah, and then what? Nothing. I didn't do it. I went on to the
Plastic
next
bag
thing.
blew by.
Yeah.
Gary Newman.
Something shiny happened. Jeremy, I'm going to ask you to weigh in because, of course, you joined the Diaper Man family a little bit later. What are you thinking so far as you look at this project, knowing where it ended up, knowing what it became? Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, I thought it was just kind of funny, and weird, and right up my alley because I like doing funny, weird stuff. That's just kind of like, what? Like, you scratch your head thinking, like, can that really even be a thing? And then you make it a thing, and it works, and it's fun. So
You actually have that on your Instagram, don't you? Something like the weirder the better, or if it's weird, I love to draw it. Something like that. You say something
yeah, it's on my
like that?
Twitter.
Yes. Yeah, so-
The weirder it is, the more I want to draw it.
Oh, totes. So yeah, we want to. Actually, I wonder if I have a banner for that. Boop. There we go. You guys, if you want to look at Jeremy Thew's art, look at official JEThew on Twitter, and at jeremythew.com is his website, and on Instagram he's just at JEThew. Now, Mike and I and Kyle are all trying to convince Jeremy to please pick one name that goes over all your social media. So in the comments, please pick names that Jeremy could use on his social media that are not already taken. Please send them in. That would be great.
The winner gets nothing, and we steal his idea.
That's right. Just like every other major contest you've ever been asked to join, right?
I'm submitting Jeremy Face.
Jeremy McJeremy Face. Well, that's a good one, although it's a long, long title. I don't know if it'll fit on a business card, but hey.
All right.
Okay, let's have a look at the next thing here. So we make a joke here about Diaper Man revealing his secret identity. It's like, Michael, all this time you were Diaper Man? I never would have guessed. It's amazing what a tiny domino mask and hair gel can accomplish. Because every frickin' superhero seems to be able to be completely unrecognizable with a tiny little strip of cloth over their eyes and messing up their hair artistically.
You should take the banner off of Mike's face so we can see Mike.
Sorry, Mike.
You can see
I
his
have-
reactions to it.
Whoop!
Yeah, he's like Banner McBanner face.
Kilroy there.
That's what it should be. Banner McBanner face.
Kind of like that better.
Cross off the wheel.
Just Mike's forehead, just like commenting on things. Okay, so this is our second villain now, Lee's Arsenic, who actually becomes the Black Whip. Dun dun dun. And we were so happy because we only had one girl in the comic, and now we have two, and one of them's evil, which is awesome. So we have Mercy Munson here on this page, and then finally Lee's Arsenic. I had plans for Mercy Munson, and then I got distracted. So in the new Diaper Man, Mercy Munson will be making quite the return. I'm thinking of going a little Dark Phoenix with her. I think that would be kind of fun. But she's a redhead, so you know it's going to happen eventually.
I guess I started inking with my thumb at this point.
I think you were inking over your sketchy pencils, and you were very into cross-hatching at the time. Or just hatching, I guess.
Didn't you just darken the pencils down? Didn't you do the tight pencils and just, go?
Yeah, that would probably
Slide on-
explain it.
Yeah, because for some of the earlier episodes, I just colored over Mike's pencils. So
It's real chunky.
yeah, it's a little chunky. But some fun, again, more filters and effects.
Mm-hmm.
And then arrows. You know your comic is good when you need arrows to direct the flow of traffic for the eyeballs. Don't do this, kids. Like, people should be able to read without signposts. Oh, this is where we discover Diaper Man's kryptonite. It's leather. He's powerless against it. Mike rightly asks, so what would happen if someone attacked Diaper Man with, say, a cow? Would it have to be a dried cow? These are the questions that keep us up at night, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. And then we get Sleepers getting all butch. Yeah, I will attack. Yeah, yeah. And then we find...
Yeah.
We find Sleepers' kryptonite is girls. So basically, he can't attack girls and is powerless before their feminine wiles. By which I mean boobs. Because that's the level of intellectual grandiosity this comic gives us, kids. It's like fetishes and reducing people to sexual stereotypes. That's what we do. Let's see here.
Well, the 90s.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you go with what you know. Now we just know better, and we're able to make more jokes about it. So there we go.
And I mean, we were setting out to make a juvenile comic. Like,
Yes. And
almost by definition.
yes. So
So
let's actually say this now for today's audience. This comic is a parody of all the stuff that's kind of screwed up about superhero comics. This is not a serious comic with like serious themes. It's pointing at things and going, yeah, do you see how ridiculous this is? Comedy. So, yes, please
And it's
think,
juvenile on
Yeah.
purpose.
yes, so please think well of us, or at least don't hate us. Let's see here. Sha. Here we have the Black
She
Whip.
looked like a man.
She look like a man. Well, the model she's based on kind of did. Anyway, moving on. Oh, she has no feet, though. You've
No.
cut
No.
off her feet.
Cuts right off.
Yeah, she floats on her stubby legs.
Nazi shot off my shins.
Thanks, Cotton. And Sleepers, of course, the only way he can attack her is to wrap himself head to toe in leather so he can't see. And then we have a completely gratuitous page of porn poses where the Black Whip tries to seduce Sleepers by posing like someone you'd see on Pornhub. And then he ends up just sort of hitting her because he can't see her. And so...
See above vis-a-vis a juvenile.
Yeah. So he defeats her completely by accident, which, of course, is how Diaper Man does everything. And, oh, there's her feet. There we go. Her
Yeah,
feet were
that's where they
transplanted to
went.
this page. There we go.
Found him.
Ah, yes. And then, of course, they carry her off. I'm not sure where
why
they
is her-
carried her off to. It's not
Why is her
relevant.
top off? What is that?
Well, she opened it.
Oh.
Right here.
Oh, okay.
Page 1, she opens it. Take this! She flashes him the full Monty. But of course, he can't see her. He trips and falls on her, and that's how he defeats her.
Important plot points.
Yeah. Yeah, he falls right on her plot points, in fact.
Should Diaper Man be able to hold up Harry like that if he's been defeated by leather?
No,
Shouldn't,
look.
like, Harry just crush him?
No, look, see? He says, Harry, you're covered in leather, and ... And Harry says, oh, sorry. So the audience is supposed to believe that Harry stands back up and stops leaning forward. So yes, it's not like Kryptonite where Diaper Man immediately faints. He's just like, you're sapping my will. Help, stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. So, okay, now Mike discovers Illustrator.
Well,
and-
Illustrator was invented.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Actually, what I discovered was a Graphire tablet.
Oh, okay. Right. You could draw directly onto the screen, which to me is still wizardry and magic. I just freaking love that. How many of you guys have iPad Pros? Kyle, Mike? I can't see you because there's too many windows open. Oh yeah. Oh, Jeremy's shaking his head. Jeremy, what do you draw on?
Oh, whack 'em.
A whack-em, whack-a-mole.
I forget which one it is. It doesn't
Is
say
it-
anywhere on it.
Is it
Oh,
still
yeah.
the self-contained one?
Yeah, that one.
Hi,
The one that
Jeremy.
the one that I had to send back and have them refurbished because the touchscreen broke right away.
Right.
I
But
recommend
it's
it.
its own like Android device, right?
Oh yeah, for a phone. Yeah,
Yeah.
just my garbage that I need to replace.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, so that's at the time of this recording. That is the current technology: iPad Pros and Jeremy's out-of-date Graphire tablet. Or sorry, what Wacom?
I think it's like an Intuos 2 Pro something, $2,000, whatever.
Yeah.
For-
And
For the record, my iPad Pro is outdated as well. But
wow,
Mine
Okay.
too.
wow.
If it works, it works though. So
yep.
Technology marches on. So Mike had some great
it's a Cintiq.
physical gags here. The hamster wheel remains one of my favorite gags. Instead of having, the traditional conveyor belt treadmill, the physical challenge is to run in a hamster wheel. I think that's how Doc powers his lab, but I'm not sure. And then, because our buddy Dean was always talking about Sleepers being super muscular, because we based him on Dean, we decided to make Sleepers crazy Rob Liefeld size, like just ginormously mutant. And and he's still kind of like that to this day. Like he's just sort of bigger than everyone around him. But he's one of those characters that is not really aware of his own size. So I picture him as kind of like a clumsy puppy. But he's not a ninja by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
I kind of like the heads here in this panel. Diaperman's head is like larger than his
Huge.
body, and Sleeper's head is like a tiny little bobble on top of a ginormous.
Well,
it's
we're
like they
looking at
switched
them
heads.
from two separate angles somehow.
Yes, yes, two separate perspectives.
Boy.
Yeah. Ugh, says my God, why? Sight gags galore. We used the Stargate and then spent a whole page having people try to say the word Stargate and having other characters shut them up.
Even though we literally cut out a picture of the Stargate and put it
Literally.
in the comic.
Yeah.
Didn't even redraw it at all. Just
Nope.
pasted that right in there.
Back in those days too, copyright on the internet was not such a big topic. It was like, oh, I could just cut and paste this. No one's going to care. Now it's like, will people care? I think people will care. I think we should be very careful. Gratuitous butt shot of Paddles spanking bottoms, which is of course the whole
Smacked
thing.
himself on a sticker of some sort.
Yes. So Mike actually did an entire spin-off comic of the Spanker for 24-hour comic book day, circa 1999, 2000.
Could
Do you
be.
remember? Something like that. And it was great. As the Spanker meets the Family Force 4, and the whole thing is a commentary on sort of like the warning stickers and signposts and everything that coddle people instead of teaching them something. It's a great comic. It actually forms part of the second Diaper Man graphic novel, which we will cover on another podcast. But Mike, you just had an idea for a sequel to the Spanker, Spanker number 2, and what did you call it?
I'm not ready to talk about it on the podcast.
Oh,
Good
okay.
Lord, man.
All right. He's
Stop telling
holding
me
it back. He's holding it back, but I'll tell you, it has something to do with the paddle, and it's exciting. And
Electric Spankaloo.
Yeah, Spanker 2, Electric Spankaloo. Oh, I wish I had a banner ready for that. That's hilarious. All right, let's stroll on here. Oh, yes, P.S., just so you all know, Mike hates it when I spring things on him, so I try not to, but then I get excited. So sorry, Mike, just got excited there, because Spanker number 2, I want it. Let's see here. Here we have the epic level of battle where we see the physical prowess of both Diaper Man and the Spanker. Sissy fighting. I have wanted to do a superhero sissy fight all my life, and now I can say I've done it. We have one panel where they're like hit, smackety, hit, flick, tap, and calling each other names, which to me is so perfect for these two, because they take themselves so seriously, and yet as soon as they're confronting the reality of what they have to do, they can't do it. It's like, I should take the spanker down. And so I pushed him, and then he pushed back. Yeah. And then, of course, the two fall into the Stargate. Sorry, not the Stargate, the completely original doohickey. And they get transformed into a fusionary being called Nightwetter. Dun dun dun. Or Shah is the sound effect for that, apparently.
Shma.
Shma. Now, Nightwetter will punch a bitch out. Like, he punches sleepers and just knocks them out one punch. So that's pretty butch for Diaper Man. We have a guest appearance by Dork Boy, who's, oh my gosh, Damien, that's right. Damien's Dork Boy character, and I sort of made fun of how Damien draws eyes by asking Mike to draw him with huge, huge eyes. Which made me laugh.
Somehow his contact lenses
Yes.
that go plip plip even though they're already in.
I assumed that was just the sound of him blinking ferociously.
Oh, okay.
Plip. Yes. Then we switched artists to Adrian Kleinberger.
Adrian.
Yes, Adrian Kleinberger. And plip plip. There we go. Nightwetter. Here we have an homage, we'll call it, to, I think, an Incredible Hulk cover where the Hulk is like holding up the title of the story on his back. And Sleepers, of course, with the extended Kirby fist, which is larger than the rest of his body. And then Doc Lazarus pointing his hand in a Kirby-ish fashion, as Kirby also did. So this is our big homage page.
And that smooth 1990s Photoshop paint, blending.
Oh, absolutely. Look at it, right? I mean, the shading, the highlighting, it's so seamless. It's not at all like ink was vastly thrown at a canvas and then had a spotlight put on it.
I'm just happy the art isn't me anymore.
Yes, it's like Mike can relax and can comment now.
We've run the gauntlet.
Yes. The font starts getting a little better here, a little more consistent. Let's see. Still using those Photoshop filters. Yeah. And if one font is good, 6 or 7 is better. Not necessarily.
Goosh.
Goosh. That's what happens when a bladder suddenly deflates all at once. It's goosh.
Flash.
Oh, yes. Also, because we were doing this comic as a web comic, I actually used Flash to animate parts of this issue and use sound effects. My God, labor intensive for me at the time. So although you could mouse over and actually hear the splash as the character falls into his own puddle, this was the only episode I did that for. And of course, all
I
the
had forgotten
files-
about that.
Yeah.
We should see if we
Yeah.
can Internet Archive that one. Way
Yeah,
back machine.
I don't know if I actually still have the files. I'll have to look. Let's see. One of my favorite panels is actually here where Doc Lazarus slaps Sleepers to snap him out of it. And I had a whoosh sound, and I animated the picture so that Sleepers' face would go back and forth. And I would just, if I was having a bad day, I would load up that page and just mouse over that panel just to slap Sleepers again and again and again. It was very cathartic. Very cathartic. Poor Sleepers. But he's probably into that kind of thing. Another droopy diaper joke. I like this because it's a little bit 28 Days Later, where instead of everybody turning into a zombie, everyone is like sitting there like completely drained in a puddle. So that's the world of Diaper Man, folks. Puddles everywhere, watch where you step. And then we have Nightwetter evolving to being some kind of beast, a la 1950s, the 50-foot woman kind of trope, where it just keeps growing and becoming more monstrous.
Look
Although
at
I don't
D&D Club when D&D was still, shameful.
Yes, yeah, we did this joke where we wanted to involve D&D players who were, very courageous while they were role playing, and then involve them in a quote unquote real life adventure and just show them as being a contrast to what they were. But this is back in the day when playing D&D was, as Kyle said, shameful, and you sort of hid in a closet to do it. Like, oh, okay, don't tell anyone we're playing D&D. And so, of course, the joke is all about this poor, skinny ogre character who is like, my ogre is the fiercest character in the party. I am mighty beyond all reason. And then he's like kidnapped by sleepers. Put me down. I'm fierce. And then, of course, all the role players immediately think it's another role-playing gig and start chasing. Come back.
Conversion.
Forsooth. Yes,
Conversion reference.
Yeah, totally. Conversion 25. So very tired. That was our local sci-fi convention. Did it actually make it to 25, you guys?
I'm not sure,
pretty
but
close.
it was so very tired.
Yes. So yeah, we Diaper Man definitely draws things from our lives, and we put it in there for sure. Steals. Pays homage to
Theft.
And of course, now by this point in the story, Nightwetter is like basically it's just a giant, huge blob of flesh. And then here comes Phil. I mean, Dave the Paladin. And
Is that Phil?
yes,
Aw.
yeah. No, Adrian was not a good caricaturist. I mean, he knew all these people personally, but couldn't quite get them. But, it is what it is. I mean, no one was going to get the joke except a handful of people anyway. So here we go. Gamers, good. Yeah. Lots of
Those two
fear.
words don't go together.
It is if you're looking for abundant fear and nervousness and social
all right.
anxiety. And then we do a sliders reference where the doc actually has a timer, because it was our plan to actually slide Diaper Man into all these different dimensions so that I could branch out and make fun of more types of comics. I was especially hoping to have Diaper Man in the Judge Dredd world. I just thought that would be fun, but we never got to do that. So here we go, click, and then crack-a-boom! And just like any other science fiction story, whenever lightning hits something, science magic happens. The Flash becomes the Flash because chemicals fell on him. People turn invisible, people gain superpowers, or in this case, get rifted to another dimension entirely.
Sure, that's just science. I mean, we all know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm no scientist, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
I'm pretty sure.
I read it on the internet. And then we have, they have separated Diaper Man and Sleepers, but here we have the Supergirl Crisis on Infinite Earths homage, Red Theft, where an apparently dead Diaper Man is being hoisted by Sleepers. Why? And it's like, well, I'll tell you why. Because, ta-da, he's alive, yay! And then the villain and the hero discover each other's secret identity because they were merged. And so that, to me, was going to bring it back to the Archie comics where they kind of snipe at each other when they're in school together, but they don't do anything until they turn into their alter egos. But I never get back to that. Switching artists again.
Yay!
Yay! This is Michael Kelleher, who is like a total professional. He's colored for Marvel and is still working to this day. And the fact that he offered to color as well, because up to this point I had been coloring just flat colors, no, it's just not good. So finally seeing a professional coloring job just blew my mind. So we totally ripped off Star Wars with the title A New Hope, Chapter 12. And then what we do is we establish that this is a separate dimension from the one they left. Because Mike was no longer involved with the project, I felt guilty about using his character names, so I changed the names of all the characters. And again, completely threw that idea out after this issue. So, consistency, folks. Mike's favorite phrase of mine is, sometimes I'm consistent, which is my life right there. It's totally what it is. Also Jeremy's life. Also Kyle's life. In fact, I think, Mike, you're the only consistent one in this group.
Yes. That is accurate.
So yeah, Sleeper's name was Jason McGee. Oh, okay. So I did work McGee back in there. There we go. Sleeper's McGee. And here we have the 1970s sitcom version of Innocent sharing a bed because Diaper Man has 1 foot on the floor. And Sleepers resembles like a purple polar bear of some sort, which is awesome. So we have the old dimension, new dimension, explanation. We have the new name reveal. And Diaper Man doesn't have his powers because in this universe he never became Diaper Man. And we use the original Spider-Man movie starring Tobey Maguire. We use the web sequence where he tries to figure out his webs.
Steal.
It's homage, fromage. Let's see, and then we have the big reveal, Austin Sterling, which is the Spanker, and I just picked the most awesome sounding name I could think of at the time. And there's Mercy Munson, and in the background, and that's like the last time we see her, so she needs to come back. And that brings us to the end. We have lots of fan art. Mike made a banner out of this. I still really like this piece, actually. It's got depth to it. I enjoy it. A lot of Adrian's retooling concepts for Diaper Man. Some of them just were a little more extravagant than others.
It's like Black Hawk, but okay.
Oh, it's totally Black Hawk. I didn't know that character. It was actually another friend of ours in the illustrators group who said, you do realize that's in exactly Black Hawk's costume. I'm like, oh. So then I said to Adrian, we can't do that. And Adrian was like, I don't want to do it then. I'm like, okay. Sean Beatty, still a big fan of Sean Beatty. Writes for Cracked Magazine still, I think. Still writes for Cracked Magazine. But he had his...
Well,
he had
not the
his-
magazine. Magazine hasn't been around for a
Yeah,
while.
that
right.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, sorry, the website. I'm dating myself. Magazines, kids, and record albums
We've
and
been dating
8-tracks.
ourselves this entire episode.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true. That's true. But I mean, this is from 1996, by the way, is when we started Diaper Man, you guys. 1996. That's what was going on.
The Remember the 90s podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
Nostalgia is poison.
Most of fandom disagrees with you. Please leave a note in the comments as to whether or not you like nostalgia or refuse to look into the past as it
Who are
thrills
those-
you.
Children.
Yeah.
We're children. We're children. We're children.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Let's just know
gosh.
I've always had a 5 head.
Yeah.
It's not receding. It looks like this always.
Yeah. You just had darker thatch on top at that time. Also, this is the only time where your height is not vastly exceeding the person beside you.
Crouching down, that's why it's like this.
Yes, Crouching Mike, Hidden Michael. Let's see. And here's Kyle's contribution. We were doing something called Fan Art Fight Club at the time, and Kyle put these in as his submissions under a pseudonym. And I wasn't conversant enough with Kyle's style to go, oh, that's Kyle. But the Diaper Man Beyond is still one of my favorite tropes. I love that. I've got to work that into a future Diaper Man, literally a future Diaper Man. And then a great sort of Wonder Woman superhero landing. See, superhero landings were a thing, kids, even before Marvel Universe movies. Look at that.
Yeah.
More Diaper
Kyle
Man.
fell asleep.
Did Kyle fall
Wake
asleep?
up, Kyle.
Hello. Kyle's like,
I didn't know that was an option. I'd fallen asleep through my whole old art.
I think I've actually just killed him by showing.
I'm just
his
waiting
old
till
art.
I'm done.
Oh, okay. So here we have.
At the outset, you can just leave while your old art is up. Just like, bye.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. So we have 40s, 50s, 60s, 80s Diaper Man by Fan. And then a gay magazine approached me wanting a Diaper Man strip for their magazine. And I'm like, okay. So I had Diaper Man Meets the Fashion Police, which were 3 queens who are discussing the fashions of everybody that walks by. And then they like Diaper Man's fashion so much they end up wearing diapers. There we go.
That's Queer Eye prequel.
Yeah, pretty much. But it did not get published because I just assumed that it sucked for them. I don't know. A nice pinup by my friend Jerry. And then this is a postcard-sized thing we did for the website to promote it. Sometimes Justice wears plastic pants. It's not as cool a rallying cry as you might think. I think Mike changed it to sometimes Justice goes padded. Here is a parody of the Hostess Fruit Pie ads. Only this one, they were maitre d' bran muffins. And of course, Diaper Man is of course chowing down on these bran muffins, getting his fill, as he would. Mike's Illustrator model sheets. Marcy's model sheets. I had actually changed the logo so that it'd be more chest-centric instead of the huge pin, but I missed it. I was like, no, the pin reads. This is Derek Ma, who did a nice Illustrator. I actually had this made into a 3D model. I actually still have it. It's a clay model, and it just looks so cool, him perched on the gargoyle like that. It makes me laugh. Mike's Spanker with the pool noodles. Marcy's Spanker. And Derek's Spanker. I do enjoy that it's like a riding crop here, and it's gibbering, it's fidgeting. Yeah, quivering in the air, just ready to strike. This is the Tick. I mean, this is Sleepers, done by Marcy. It's like a giant puppy. Doc Lazarus, who looks a lot like Brent Spiner here, actually, before Brent Spiner looked like this. And then we have the group. Ta-da! Look at that group. And no sign of Mercy Munson. Bad, bad Michael. And yeah, that brings us to the end of the Diaper Man graphic novel. Image. Boop.
Hey,
So
look.
that was a trip down memory lane, but this
Wanna go
graphic
back
novel.
again?
Yeah.
No!
No, don't. Why you did? So, folks, if you go to twogargs.com/Diaperman, you can read up about Diaper Man there. You can also get both the first and the second graphic novel, and it's available on Indie Planet. Unfortunately, the first one, the art is so old and the resolution is so poor, we can't put it on Comixology. It doesn't qualify. So
It's for the best.
it kind of, yeah. And yet, it still outsells everything else. So by all means, check out twogargs.com/Diaperman and learn all about that. Now, in the second graphic novel, Mike does an issue, and then Jeremy comes on board, and he did a great issue of Diaper Man. His art, Mike's colors, it's really quite fantastic, but we'll talk about that next time. Because what I want to talk about now is the newest Diaper Man comic that's coming out is actually a crossover event with Jeremy's universe that he has been doing since what, junior high? Is that when you invented this character?
95. Just like the poster behind me. Ironically.
Oh, yes. And Kyle just found the Diaper Man website from way back in the day.
2002, January.
January 2002.
Oh, it says November 24th there.
Wow.
Oh, no.
I
November,
actually,
November 2001.
I kind of like it, although it does need to be wider for sure. But
Well,
The
the resolutions
screens were
were
only
kinda different.
640 pixels across at that time.
exactly. And look, crowdfunding.
Steam powered.
I invented crowdfunding. Look, you guys, I invented it.
Kyle hates us and wants us to feel pain.
Why? Your art isn't on here.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. No, I actually really like the colorful panels down the side, but then I love rainbow anything, so that made me super happy. And I just like those little graphics. Yes. I mean, why move forward when you can use stuff from years ago?
Yeah, what is this? The
Nostalgia is
GeoCity?
poison.
Alrighty. Boop. Thanks, Kyle. A little trip down memory lane there. So let's move on to Jeremy's project here. I'm just gonna share my screen. Application. Boop. There we go. All right, so what we're seeing here is Diaper Man Meets Milk, which is the big crossover event where Diaper Man and Sleepers cross over into the world of Milk, who is a female goddess powered super character in her own right. And her superpower is milk related. You can probably guess from the cover exactly how her power works. Jeremy, tell us about Milk.
Okay.
My title suggestion, Diaper Man Picks Up Milk, was rejected by the editor.
Yeah.
I like Diaper Man Picks Up Milk. I just, I thought Meats was a little less leading on kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
No,
Jeremy,
so I drew it because I was bored after Christmas. It was just kind of to just be funny. I was hanging out with a bunch of my cousins who are around my age, so they would get it.
how old were you at the time?
14.
14. This
Uh-huh.
is absolutely a 14-year-old boy's fantasy. Absolutely. I endorse that entirely.
Yeah. So
And-
I originally had her just have some weird origin story, like she's born in the center of the Milky Way, which makes no sense, like on a space shuttle. So I'm like, okay, babies being born on space shuttles now, cool. And that somehow gave her the ability to, when she became of age, she blossomed into womanhood. But somehow her memories just started producing milk all crazy, and then she had the urge to fight crime with her milk. That's all she had going for her at the time, and either use it for good or use it for nothing. I don't know. Just have it be sore all the time from lack of use.
And it's funny because this is one of those characters where I was like, I don't know. Is this over the top, you guys? I mean, I know it's over the top, but is it too over the top? Oh, God, oh, God. And then I saw some of Eric Larson's Savage Dragon stories, and I was like, nope.
It's
Still
fine.
good.
Yeah.
It's all good. And every time I keep getting worried about how far a story can go, I look around at comics, and I'm not even talking like, low rent indie comics. I'm talking about things like, for example, the Venture Brothers, and Rick and Morty and whatnot. And my God, like compared to that, we are very vanilla. We are very innocent. So that's what kind of gives me the strength to move forward. And in Milk's universe, everybody's powers are based on biology somehow. So it can get pretty gross, but at the same time funny, we hope. So that's what I'm looking forward to there. Of course, Diaper Man and Sleepers play sort of the straight guys in this comic, like because they're not on their own world. They're like, this seems strange to us. Meanwhile, they're running around in pajamas and a diaper kind of thing. So I'm hoping that contrast comes through as well. Some of the other characters in Milk, hang on, I actually have some pages here. Boop. And we will add to stream. Stop screen. Share screen. These are the parts that we will edit out, where I hum and haw and look for things.
And name the buttons you're pushing.
Yes. Okay, so here we have Sleepers actually trying to fight Milk. And of course, the only way he can is from behind, because he can't face her womanness. And of course, she, being a badass, flips him right the heck over her shoulder and throws him into an abandoned car whose airbags then deploy. And as we've said, airbag joke. But of course, both airbags deploy, so in the panel, they look like two boobs. And Sleepers is immediately overcome and faints into the airbags, which I enjoy. And he's got pursed lips, like thumb-sucking lips, I called him.
I think that's also a me joke.
Yeah?
The throwing into the car with the airbags?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You said deploy the airbags. That's right. No, again, Mike's saving my bacon with the humor. That's some good stuff there. And then we have a confrontation where Diaper Man actually looks, angry in the first panel, and that's not an emotion that usually plays on his face. So then he starts talking to Milk and gradually becomes less unhappy as they realize, as all superheroes do, that it's been a misunderstanding, that their battle shouldn't have happened, and now they're going to join forces. But then the villains show up. Dun dun dun. And I'm very, very pleased with these villains. Let's see if I can zoom in here.
Tina is my favorite villain.
Of course, Ninja Tina, or
It's
just Tina.
Tina. Her name is Tina. She fights crime.
I want to point out at my frustrated writer self, I asked Jeremy for backstory for these characters because he's known them for years.
Yeah.
But Jeremy doesn't think in a linear fashion, so he gave me backstory in bits and pieces.
Yeah, piecemeal.
Yeah.
So you know what to use, you know, so you... Yeah.
I wrote so many Tina-based jokes, Jeremy, that you'll never see.
Yeah, they're so good,
Just as
so
writing
good.
Tina jokes.
Well, she's my go-to if I ever need like a random cab driver or like a nurse in a hospital.
The generic Tina.
Yeah, she's just always the side character that I always throw in just randomly when I need a part.
I think I wrote Sleepers going, Tina from the coffee shop? And Diaperman's like, there's more than one Tina.
There can be more than one Tina, and I like that joke, and if I can fit it in, I'm going to put it in. So we had a character called the Seaman, and ultimately
Because he was a sailor.
Yeah, yes, that's why.
He was in the Navy.
A salty sailor.
Right.
And
Like
we
Donald
decided, and we decided the joke might be just a little too much even for this comic. So we came up with Nasal Lord, who is this fellow right here.
I didn't want the X rating for this comic.
Yeah, we didn't want to go full X. So
Yeah.
Jeremy wanted to call him Snot Rocket, and I said, that's too on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, womp womp. Yeah, that's why I don't write the jokes, kids. Tina, Super Tina with her ponytail. And,
Sinestro.
Sinestro. Oh, you're good. And Fat Man. Dun, dun, dun.
I resent that.
Then Tina snaps her fingers, and Fat Man goes into action because he can control his own body fat.
Yep.
So, of course, it goes and envelops. Holy tentacle porn, Batman! It envelops Sleepers and then traps him in his fat. Dun dun dun. So all this and more coming up in Diaper Man Meets
Arms are
Milk.
going right through.
Well, it's because they're wrapped around. It's like
and
he's
then rejoins itself. Okay.
yeah.
It's kind of like Clayface.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Acting.
Like Clayface. I'm not farming at all. It's fine.
Well, at least we didn't call him Fat Face. You know, that would have been
Yeah.
something. There we go. So yeah, we're the shenanigans continue. I'm actually very pleased to be continuing with Diaper Man after 10
2
years.
years.
10 years?
So,
About
Kyle,
that.
what jokes did you
Yeah.
write when you were 14 that you'd like to defend now?
I can't think of any. Oh, I'm sure they're there.
Well, the thing is, all of Kyle's jokes still come out to this day, and they're irrespective of age. I highly suspect that when you were 14, the jokes were very similar to what you're doing now. And I mean that as a compliment.
A cheese grater across my soul.
Mike hates looking backwards, you guys. If you hadn't already figured that out, that's why nostalgia is poison. Whereas the rest of us are like, do you remember that fun thing? Mike's like, the fun thing burns. That is not a fun thing anymore. Don't make me relive it. Let's see. I think that's about all the time we have for today. Is there anything you guys want to pitch right now? What are you working on, Mike?
Twilight Detective Agency Girls Out #3 is starting to be posted on my Patreon. Every other Sunday, a new comic page goes up at patreon.com/Hawkstone.
Oh, right. I'll make a banner for that. I should have had that ready. Patreon.com.
Editing!
Yes, /
I'll be doing a Kickstarter for that once it's closer to being finished, because the cover for #3 is being drawn by the amazing Carell Clara. And let's have you all pay for that instead of me for a change.
Yeah. Yay, Kickstarter. Kickstarter's so good, and it just makes so many things possible. The COVID is sort of affecting production a little bit. Mike and I were just talking this week about Indie Planet and Kablam, and of course, Twilight Detective Agency Girls Out #2 has been submitted to Indie Planet, but is currently not up yet. It's up on Comixology though, yes?
Yeah, Comixology put it up in like no time,
Love it.
which is
So,
completely bass-ackwards.
yeah, that's how that works. Kyle, you are almost done gloaming number 4.
Yes.
Yes, and you have other comic projects percolating in your brain, but haven't yet really
Yes and no.
gone for it. Yes and no.
I'm not ready to talk about that yet.
Oh, okay. Michael,
Work out your half-formed ideas publicly, Kyle.
do it. That's what's fun about
it. Monkey Land Man.
it. Monkey Land.
Improvise.
Man. That's right. Improvise. Everyone's comfortable with it. Public speaking, not a problem. As everyone reminds me that I should be more sensitive about. Ha.
And ask the audience about a location for your improv.
Oh, that's right. It's like, I need a location and an everyday job. Ask for Babs. Jeremy, you are working on, like, you have been doing a lot of really great sort of 90s X-Men pin-ups and stuff lately on your social media. What's coming down the pipe?
Thrill, as an
What do you
introvert,
discuss
gets
any
dragged
of
along by
this
his extrovert
live
friend.
thing?
I am sorry. I need to learn
You
this
just
lesson.
finished doing that to Kyle.
I thought Jeremy might be ready by this time. I just no.
I just do
Jeremy,
random
where do you see
panel
yourself
every
in
once in a
5
while.
years?
Huh?
Still in quarantine.
Yeah, I'm in a basement right now hiding from the coronas. So I just do whatever I can to make me feel like I'm not in a basement doing
Right.
this.
Yeah, rocking back and forth. That's right. You guys, Jeremy currently has acetaminophen, acidophilus, appendicitis. That's
Yeah.
the word. Yes, and so he's just waiting till December to get the appendix out because that's American medicine
They
for
want
you,
me
I
to
guess.
Healthcare is
Hold
a
on,
privilege,
hold
not
on
a
for as
right.
long as possible.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Man, my appendix went up. I was in the hospital and in surgery within like 12 hours.
I was in the hospital for 5
What was
days.
your
and they were
hospital
like,
bill,
"Come back
Kyle?"
in 2 months."
Nothing.
Because we're Canadian.
Absolutely nothing.
Jeremy's like, you assholes.
Yeah, I want this
Canadian
thing out
jokes.
of me so I can go home. I'm stuck
Right?
at my mom's house.
Yeah, Jeremy's reliving his
Oh,
20s, living in his
Yeah.
mom's basement.
Oh, that was not a fun time.
Let's
Very
revisit
good.
it
Yes.
through the wonder of nostalgia.
Yes,
At least
indeed.
now I can
Do you have
drive.
any art from that time we could see?
Oh, um,
I know the answer is yes. It's just not with you right now. But
Uh-huh,
I
it's
know
probably
you
on-
have it.
probably on DeviantArt. I haven't touched that since my 20s.
Are you PJ Bottoms on DeviantArt?
No, it's Jet Comics. The PJ Bottoms one is just Sailor Moon fan art. Again, I haven't done for years. So
All right.
Not
So
serious.
go on DeviantArt and look up Jet Comics and PJ Bottoms and thrill to the 20-year-old art of Jeremy.
it's all nostalgia there. Since we're all nostalgia this episode.
Totally. Mike's death glare is the best death glare. Angry giant German death glare.
I wish we could find old scripts of yours we could just put out. Look, he's
we
dangling
can.
a participle.
Yeah, I mean, woo. We actually did that when we were practicing this run. I did call up the original Diaperman scripts. It's just that they're boring to look at because it's just Diaperman says this.
Oh, is it
Diaperman
embarrassing
jumps.
your old work? You don't want to trot that out for public consumption? Your old
Oh no, it's
work?
not embarrassing. I'm an entertainer. Embarrassing myself is what I do to entertain people. It's boring, and that is a cardinal sin. If I found something that was truly tragic, I would put it up. I'd be like, hey kids, let's go through this piece by piece and laugh at it because I find that stuff funny. Of course, it's cringy, but it's still funny. I mean, cringe can be fun, except for the person whose art it is, I guess. But again, I have no fear of public speaking or public ridicule.
There you go. This will make you feel
excellent.
better.
Boop. Kyle on
Early
Halloween.
cosplay.
Wow. What year is
Wow,
this?
where's the rest of you, Kyle?
I didn't draw the feet.
No, I mean like
Yeah, I know.
horizontally.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, so much skinny young people.
Wow.
I got to dig up pictures
Chris
of me with
Kamke
my...
was butthead
Oh,
at that Astra Halloween party.
yes. Our
I'd probably
Star-
say 97.
Yes, our Star Trek fan club, the Astra, and had a Halloween dance. That is a hoot and a half. Oh, I love that. I am
There.
Polio.
There's some of my early shame.
Excellent.
Well, I feel better.
Yes. I will endeavor to find some early 90s hair shame of me with my 90s hair.
Shame. Ah.
King of the Impossible. Well, that's about all the time we have for today. I'd like to thank my guests, Jeremy Thew, all the way from the United States of America.
Illinois.
Illinois at this time.
Illinois.
Illinois. That's the French Illinois.
Hell yeah.
Mike Rieger from beautiful downtown Kelowna. And Kyle from beautiful Beddington, Calgary. This has been the Two Gargoyles Podcast.